You see, we are created in a magnificent vibration, in an absolutely magnificent vibration. Born risk takers. Free. That conditioning takes place after birth. You can change it. It takes guts. It takes goals. Do you know something? You're sitting there watching this and you're thinking, my God, I'm going to change something. Now we say, keep reminding yourself that you have tremendous reservoirs of potential within you, and therefore you are quite capable of doing anything you set your mind to. You really can. I don't care what the cynics tell you. Quit listening to some of your peers. Now all you must do is figure out how you can do it, not whether you can or not. When are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? You've got to create a sense of urgency. I'm going to do it right now.
If you can see it, you can do it. But the beautiful truth is you can do anything. We got to know there is a place. There is a specific frequency. And if you get on that frequency, you're going to attract what you need to you. This is what it's all about. Why have you been endowed with such awesome powers? If you'll make a committed decision, this I'm going to do. And you don't have to know how. You do not have to know how. The second you make the committed decision, you flip your brain onto the frequency that you have to be on to attract what you have to attract to manifest the thing that you want. If you can see it, you can do it. It's got to be something you want. Wants come from inside. Act like you're already there. Walk, talk, speak, live like you're already there. Don't set a small goal. Don't set something that doesn't really wind your stem. Set it so big it jazzes you. It really gets you going. When something of a very high nature resonates with the very high side of you, you'll know it. You'll know it. You will feel it. Feeling is conscious awareness of vibration. The only prerequisite, do you want it? Not do you need it, not could you do it. The only prerequisite is, do you want it? Take the lid off your marvelous mind and dream. For goodness sake, give yourself the right to do that. Get your analytical mind out of the way. Put it in your pocket for a while. All you're doing is exploring, daydreaming. What did Lawrence say? All men dream, but not equally. Those who dream by night in the dusty recesses of their mind waken the day to find that it was vanity. But the dreamers of the day are dangerous men, for they may act their dream with open eyes to make it possible. This I did.
Hey everybody, and welcome to FHL, Freedom, Health and Lifestyle. Listen, great if you're joining us live. If you're watching on the replay, give us a comment, give us a like, give us a share. And if you're watching live, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. And of course, listen, we're going to get into something here. We're at episode 93. And we're going to talk about Gina and Steve Merritt. Now, we're still on the network marketing thing. And of course, we're on the Eric Worre YouTube channel, so go and definitely subscribe to Eric Worre. He's got an amazing content creation list of interviews. The link is in the description here, so go and check that out. But look, don't forget to like, subscribe and share. Click that notification button. You'll hear when we're on, usually around the same time every week. I don't know if Joey's going to make it here this week because like our clocks went back last week, which creates confusion all the time, especially when you're on different continents, right? So we'll see what happens. If he gets on, great. If he doesn't, that's okay too. But we're going to watch this video. I'm rocking two screens, so I'm not really sure I know what I'm doing. This is the first time. But of course, this is personal development with Freedom, Health and Lifestyle. And of course, I was talking to somebody the other day, actually, and they should change it from personal development to personality development, because it's your personality that you've got to develop, right? I think that changes all aspects of your thinking and your life. But anyway, they're just my musings and my thoughts. Let's have a look. Let's see if I can do this. I'm not even sure if I can do it. Let's see if I can share my screen. Will it share from? Yes, it will. Oh my God, I don't believe it. Right. Oh, wow. Seems like I know what I'm doing. Right. I'm so surprised. That was so smooth. I'm going to enjoy these two screens. All right. Well, look, let me see. Yeah, I can just, oh my God, it's like changed my life. Right. All right, let me see. Hopefully Joey will get on. We'll see. But look, let me see. We'll keep that rolling. Obviously, my contact details, Joey's contact details are scrolling along the bottom. If you want to reach out, do. Joey can be reached on facebook.com/Joey Younger. And of course, I can also be reached on facebook.com/The Real Mick McQuillan. Feel free, reach out, drop a comment, drop a question, and we'll be happy to get your questions answered. It's really straightforward. I'm excited about using this. So we're going to start at the beginning. I might just have a look and see, actually, because you can see here that we can actually jump down. How cool is this? This is brilliant. You know, so obviously we've got the introduction. Welcomes Network Marketing Power Couple Steve and Gina. Steve and Gina share their background story, including I always enjoy listening to the stories. In addition, I'm 4 kids, blah, blah, blah. Flight attendant, Delta Airlines. Eric shares a story about experience he had with Delta Airlines. I think we could listen to the first 20 minutes of this, but we're not going to get in. How they learn age doesn't matter in network marketing. And that's a good one, right? That's a really good one. Should maybe get into that. How Steve got over his resistance in talking to prospects in network. Oh my God, we could start there. If you're a network marketer, that's probably where we want to start. Maybe. I don't know. Gina reveals some effective tactics of trading sex for phone calls. What? Maybe we want to start there. Maybe I want to share that with my wife. Right. Sharing business. Not just products. This is juicy. This is juicy. Okay, let's get straight in.
Merritt. So Steve and Gina, how are you guys?
Excellent. Thank you.
Excited to be here.
You just get in last night, this morning?
Yeah, we just flew in late last night from Palm Beach, Florida.
Nice. Thanks for coming all the way over to Vegas.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
I'm happy to have you.
Yeah.
So we've recently become connected, recent friends.
Yeah.
But we've both been around a similar period of time inside of this profession.
Yeah.
So we'll kind of go do a back and forth.
Right.
Yes.
What's the origin story? Where'd you come from, Steve? I'll ask you first, and then I'll ask Gina.
I grew up in Wisconsin, water ski capital of the world. My dream was to be a world champion, ski on the U.S. Water ski team. So I came to Florida, started training down there, and that's where I met Gina. I actually found a ski school there and asked them, is anyone get a job here? They said, well, if you pay us $300 a month to work here, you can have a job. Then I said, hey, can you help me find a job to pay to work here? But little did I know that those coaches they were like the best coaches in the entire industry, taught me how to be a world champion. I actually went on to teach my daughter to be a 2-time world champion. So it was an incredible connection.
So you're a world champion in water skiing.
Yeah.
Slalom?
Yeah.
What?
Barefoot water skiing.
Barefoot?
No skis. We don't do it with no skis.
Like,
I don't like bindings.
Oh my God.
But that taught me a lot in this industry, because if you don't, everything doesn't happen overnight. It took me years to become a world champion, not even until after we got married. So it was way before I even met her. I was training, but then went on there, and it was just an incredible ride. And it actually helps you through your life, that competitiveness, especially.
Right.
I'm not a real people person.
Yeah.
I like to win, but if you have to learn to like people and communicate with them, I learned it. I changed, you learn that skill set,
right?
To smile and, yeah. I mean, but if you got that competitiveness in you, you just can't get it out of you. You can actually use it in this industry years and years down the road, because, you can't take those hard falls for your entire life,
Yeah.
So I still barefoot ski.
Really?
Gina can barefoot.
Get out of here.
I got grandkids that barefoot.
I love it.
But I will say that I do the things that I know how to do that I'm not going to fall.
Right.
Now, they might look hard to you, but they're easy for me because I've done them for so many years. But
And I'm the driver.
I met her down in South Florida.
Yeah.
And that's where it all happened.
So Gina, where'd you come from?
So I'm born and raised in West Palm Beach.
Okay.
The youngest of 3 girls. My parents had foliage nursery. My dad, when I was growing up, was the largest status. It's like a dried flower that's in almost all the arrangements. He was the largest in the United States. And completely learned work ethic.
Yeah.
I mean,
Really?
the guy went bankrupt. Like my parents went bankrupt probably like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
Really?
And just got up and started fighting again. And I'm telling you, just incredible what my siblings and I learned, my 2 sisters and I. Incredible.
Well, some people would take that as that's not the path I want to go.
Yeah.
But you didn't take it that way. You're just like,
No,
you
I
like the resilience of it.
I completely learned that it doesn't matter if you're down and out, you can pick yourself up and still win. And I think that's like a real value in that. Like Steve's story, his going to go work at a ski school that charged him. Then he had to find a job to pay for that ski school job. That was his passion and his dream. But his mindset, he knew that he needed to be around that environment and be at that place. So it's pretty powerful when you think about it, that he had to go find a job to pay for the ski school job.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
I'm blown away.
Not many
Like,
people would ever do that.
No.
So
I never heard that
And
story
of all
ever.
things, of all
Right.
things, Eric, it was washing dishes.
Yeah.
I'm sure his mom was
That's
like,
what I did.
Okay.
I got a job washing dishes that I said, that's the last job I'd ever
Yeah.
do, to pay to work at the ski school.
So you paid to work at the ski school.
Yep.
By washing dishes
At night.
Yeah.
because you wanted to be around champions.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And learn from champions.
Absolutely.
So just in your origin stories,
Mhm.
were you entrepreneurial in your mindset,
Yeah.
or was
Absolutely.
it because you're more a performer?
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's like a performance is not necessarily an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You're performing. You're going to do a show.
Right.
Like people who work on the strip here, Cirque du Soleil people,
Mhm.
they're kind of blue collar people. You know,
Mhm.
they show up. They're incredible athletes, but they're trading time for money. They don't own
Yeah.
the show.
Mhm.
So were you more a performer, blue collar, gonna go do this, be a champ, be an athlete? Or was there an entrepreneurial vibe through that endeavor, or did it flip at some point?
Well, probably the story is when we met, and then you asked me to marry you. We got engaged 3 months after we
Yeah.
met, and we got married. And I can remember him saying to me, I want to start my own ski school, my own training center.
Yeah.
And before that, we didn't have a place to live. So we found this property on the water, just on a canal, where he could literally train his students and all that. So we go to get this property, and they said, well, you don't qualify. You don't have the right paperwork.
Yeah.
And I said, come on, let's go back one more time. I mean, I think we went back 3 times.
Yeah.
Finally, the guy that was in the office, he said to you, if you teach me how to barefoot water ski,
Yeah.
you will get the loan. And I'm like, we can teach him. We can
Yeah.
teach him.
Yeah.
But because of the way I was raised, I
Yeah.
pushed him.
Yeah.
Go
Mm.
back
She's
one more
always
time.
been an encourager
Go back one more time.
the whole time.
And he went back, and then he got the loan.
Huh.
So then we got the house on the lake. We got married. Then he started his own ski school.
Whose
and we
idea was it to switch? Because your path was
right?
to become a champ, world champ.
Oh, and he was.
And so you were an actual like world champ.
Yeah. I won the world championships in 1990 on the Yarra River in Melbourne, Australia.
Wow.
So the key, that going back to your question, goes back to me growing up.
Okay.
My dad was a manager at a men's clothing store, and the way they made him work, and he only had $2 in his pocket, I always said to myself, I'm never going to work for anyone.
Mm.
So that was a mindset, like, I'm going to get out of where we're at. And that was very different than what many people say. And even my siblings, they kind of saw this as the norm. I said, no way. I am I'm going to not work for somebody. So it was already thinking that. Then I worked at a ski school where I had to pay. Then I worked at some ski schools that I worked for. And I always said for years, they came from around the world to train with myself at schools before I had my own. Now, this is before I was married. And I told every year, I'd say to them, because they'd come year after year, I'd say to them, I'm going to start my own training center. And they'd always come back and say, how come you didn't start it yet? Just wait. So it wasn't until I'm about to get married. Now I got a reason, your dream. I can't be working for somebody. I got to have my own.
Yeah.
And basically from the time the first year we got married is when we started our training center.
Okay.
And then it went on to, I even tried to talk to the guy that I worked for because he had an incredible line of equipment. There's a lot of training equipment you need in water skiing. You've grown up in the Midwest, as well. And I said, hey, I'm 23 or 22 years old. How about if I promote your equipment in my training center? He said, well, you got to pay us like hundreds of thousands of dollars. I said, I'm 22. That was like a really, I just acted like I wasn't interested. And then I went on to make my own.
Really?
So then we not only had a training center, we had our entire line of equipment, mail order company, business around the world.
Okay.
But I used to always sit in that boat, even after having all that success, saying, and everybody wanted my job or my lifestyle. But I'd say, I don't know if I want to stay in this boat for the rest of my life.
So how much money were you making in this line of work?
Yeah, it was probably about $500,000
It's good business
company,
We
and
busted
that's in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah. Were you working
And
together? Were you both working in the
I was
business?
a
Oh,
flight
this lady's a
attendant.
Wonder Woman.
I was a flight attendant for Delta Airlines
So
for
you got-
25 years.
So you got to have free flights wherever you went to go do your stuff.
Yes.
And back
Yes.
then it was a very big benefit. Planes were always open. They didn't have all this computer tactics. You walk in there, your name wasn't on the computer. The red coat at the airline. Oh,
Give you your
Steve
With the
and
pa-
Gina are
with the
here, and
paper
they can,
tickets?
yeah, and they can
And
like,
you can
okay, you moved
adjust
up the
them?
line, yeah.
Yeah. You adjust the tickets.
Yeah, it was all different. It was fun. It was a great lifestyle then. But what she did was she'd fly all week long, leaving 3 to 4 days a week, come home, cook at the school, wash all the sheets, do everything that needed to be done. So she was like a wonder. And we got 4 kids.
Wow.
So, it came one at a time. We'd,
So
but
flight-
Rookie mistake. I'm saying these two have got so much energy, haven't they? They really have. And it's a fascinating story. But I think we should jump forward a little bit, right? And where are we going to go? Let's have a look. We're going to go. So where are we? We are 10 minutes in, 10 minutes 30 in, which flew by, really. He's talking about 4 kids, flight school, everything, yeah. How they were introduced to network marketing. Let's get to here.
I think we were really looking at that point, other than I always said to myself in the boat, this was actually before I really was saying, I don't know if I want to do this forever, because I was really into it and we were like having a blast and we were young.
Mhm.
But I will say that another one of Gina's encouragement moments, we wanted to run our school in Florida and Georgia, Atlanta, because not in the wintertime, everybody doesn't come to Florida. They'd stay where they're at. So in Georgia, more people could fly into, and they like to come, somewhere where it's not, Florida's known so hot and everything. So we're looking forever to find a place that we could run the training center out of, like on a lake or at a marina or at a ski shop. I couldn't find one. I was up there looking for weeks. I tell her I'm giving up, just like I did on the mortgage thing. I'm giving up. And she says, no, try one more time. I walk in this guy's beautiful marina right on the water. And I say, anyway, we could run my training center on here. My name is Steve Merritt. He said, we'd love to have you. Give us a couple points out of the till, run your equipment here, run the training center. We'd love it. And
it was a huge showroom.
yeah, we were
had
having a
the
blast.
whole entire showroom.
And I respected this gentleman. He owned the marina. One day, out of the blue, he says, man, you and Gina would just tear up this business that me and my wife, Beverly, just heard about. And you've got to take a look at it. And he planted the seed. Curiosity, never told me nothing other than, you got to see this. We'd never heard of network marketing. None of see. We're busy living our lives.
Yeah.
Never heard of it. I'm skiing on the
year was
water. This was 1987 or 88, somewhere in there.
Same as me. That's when I got involved.
So that's when he said it. And it went on for months that I'm saying to him, Jerry, when are we going to see this opportunity? Well, you and Gina got to be together, and Beverly's got to be, it's got timings. Right. So months, I'm like, oh my gosh, as soon as I see it, I'm in. Whatever he's
couldn't
talking about,
stop
I want
thinking
to,
about it.
and finally we got together. And when he drew it out, the circles,
Yeah.
I'm like, my eyes lit up because I always said one of the issues with barefoot skiing, especially, is who wants to barefoot ski? I need something that everybody needs.
Right.
I love franchising. So I want to be the owner, though, of the franchise. I don't want to buy a franchise. When he draw them circles, it lit up. From that point, I'd never look back as far as what the potential could be. Now, it was a big struggle to begin with. And I got a 3-year strategy to save all the young folks and anybody that wants to win faster for them from that experience. But when I seen it, I was like, oh my gosh. I said, get us one of them kit things right now. And he said, oh my gosh. He said, I don't have one. I'm like, we waited all this time. We're at dinner. You didn't bring one.
Yeah.
Go back to your house. Go get 2 of them because I'm going to sign up my best friend as well. I just called it my best friend. Mike is like my brother, even though he's my cousin. I'm like, Mike, you're getting in business with it. We're starting today. Oh my gosh. And this guy, and then from then on, it just, we went from there. It took a little bit longer than I thought because everyone that came to my training center, they were attorneys. They were business owners, owned crane shops, crane businesses. I mean, they had credible opportunity, big businesses to afford to ski with me, but they all said they were miserable. Like they all wanted you got the life. You're here in Palm Beach skiing every day, your own training center. You have got the life. We want to be you. So I thought, I'm going to save these people out of their misery. But the minute I drew the circles for them, they were like, oh my gosh, I wouldn't do that. Or what? I'm like, then you're going to stay miserable? I mean, I love what I do and I'm doing this. So it wasn't like I was doing it out of desperation. I did it because I wanted someday to be free, but it isn't like I had to do right that minute.
Yeah.
What was interesting. But I thought that's pretty unique how the gentleman had me the curiosity approach, told me we'd be great at it. And ever since we've ever seen anything.
He even said, you need to have Gina here. And you go, no, because I was flying. And you're like, no, she's on the same page as me. But trust me, I loved being a flight attendant.
Yeah.
I still miss it to this day. I
She
retired
loves it.
August 1st of 2008. I miss it to this day, like so bad. But I always knew when I was on the airplane, I thought there has to be a way out of here as I'm pushing the beverage cart, or I was back when I started.
No answer, but thinking about
Back when I
what
started,
do you
they didn't
miss?
have meal carts.
What do you miss?
Oh, just the people. I could
camaraderie?
literally sit on the armrest and talk to a brand new family and become completely
So connection
with
with the
them.
customers.
Yeah.
with the yes.
Huh.
And,
And she-
like
that was-
little kids, people would be like, if this window opened, I'd throw my kid out. I said, no, you're not, because I'm going to walk him down the aisle and he's going to help me pick up. But I just loved it. And I knew that.
She did.
I always, like when you work for the airline, especially a flight attendant, you don't get to pick and choose who you're on, who your coworkers are. So you get, like randomly seniority. So I would think, oh my gosh, did I get some of the laziest girls? And I would be the only one up and down the aisle. But I thought, there's got to be a way out of here. There has to be something better, even though I still loved my career. So my mindset was thinking that every time. And I never really communicated it with him till he came and said to me, Jerry offered this opportunity.
Yeah.
We need to look at it. We can make blah, blah, blah. And
We
I'm
were all
like,
there
yeah.
together when he showed it. And I will say that even when we were like rocking it in networking, completely rocking it. Okay. She still wants to be a flight attendant. So we would have to go to a convention or we earned a free trip somewhere, So you're not supposed to do this, but she'd say, can you take my trip? No, I can't. For $200, can you take a day? 200? No, for 500. I mean, I forgot what we'd be sending cash everywhere just so she could keep her job. And we got all these people working for her during her hours, which is very, very
Like
fun.
when we had a
It was crazy.
convention or
But
So-
I mean, that's how it was.
We don't normally talk about companies, but what was the first company?
Amway.
Amway.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I
it was
just had a
everybody else
conversation-
heard about Amway except Gina and I.
I had a
We
con-
never heard of it.
I had a conversation with one of the Jaegers last week.
Yeah.
oh
actually.
yeah.
And we're gonna have another conversation next week. But so this is a good training ground.
Yeah.
Right. You're working
Yes.
hard.
Excellent training ground. Yes.
Building this thing. I want to circle back just for a second on the airline thing. Was it a combination of the people and also kind of once you get the seniority and you're kind of at the top of the pecking order, that you don't want to give that up because it is kind of nice. It feels nice to be able to have the privileges that
Yeah,
come with that. Is that a piece of it?
Absolutely.
Interesting.
Yes. And we love to travel. So I think that with me hanging on, you just never know what life's going to throw you. So we knew we always had that flights for life.
Yeah.
I mean, come on,
Go
look at
somewhere.
her.
My kids even
She's
have
like
it. It's
born to
like-
be a flight attendant. Look at that look. I mean,
Yeah, right.
I mean, when she was a flight attendant, they had to wear exactly 3.5, am I right? Inch
3.5
heels.
inch heels.
If
Yeah.
you did not, and you could not wear them, the only time you could not wear the high heels was pushing the food cart. So up and down every
And back,
concourse,
didn't they also have weight requirements back
weigh
in
in.
the day?
She had to weigh in.
Oh, yeah.
She had to have her hair perfect, her makeup, her nails. So she loved, even though she like, oh, I hope I'm going to wait. She knew she could get the weight check and everything, but they didn't, maybe that was a little thing that she loved too. But back, she did it so long ago that we had beepers. They would beep her and then we had to
Yeah.
stop whatever we're doing. We could have been in
1985.
church,
That's
the
a long
beepers
time
going
ago.
off. Everyone's got to get out,
Remember, what was it? What was the pager? It was like nationwide pager.
Yeah.
What was
Oh.
it called?
I forget.
I don't remember, but I remember being in church and that people.
Yeah.
were
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Oh, you're kidding.
We got to go.
Yeah, the pager days, man.
But I will
Uh-huh.
tell you that what I can save some folks 3 years if they want. Took us 3 years to hit a rank. Maybe it was called gold or something like that. 3 years of struggling and working hard. Okay. And we had a great upline. He was a pediatric adult neurologist. This guy was like top of the top, and he's running around me, a barefoot skier that negotiated his way out of high school. Right. So we're going to places, but we're showing cousins, we're showing broke flight attendants and broke water skiers. No one else had their own company. So, but that was our mindset at the time. Look for needy people, look for people that, easy
They
to
need it.
call. So we were one day.
That's interesting. That if you're in, what he's going to say next is going to be very interesting. But like if you're in network marketing or if you've done network marketing, you do, don't you? You look for people who you think need it, and they don't really want to do it. They don't really want to change. That's my experience. I don't know what yours is. Let us know in the chat. Let us know in the comments. I'd be interested to know because I'm interested to see what he's going to say. Let's have a listen.
After all the tapes and all the books and all the conventions that we went to,
Lots.
getting our confidence, or maybe I should say mine, because she was always confident. She says, why don't you call the dentist that I used to work with? Because when I met her, she was a dental assistant. So I called the dentist and say, hey, remember me? You came to our wedding, Gina's husband. Yeah, come on over. If he didn't sign up at that moment, right then, say, hey, I got another dentist we need to go show. We signed him up. Then he showed me an accountant. Then he showed me an attorney, the county commissioner, the mayor.
Yeah.
We're
We
in
were
our early
rocking it
30s
now.
and everybody following us was in our 50s. So my main focus to learn from that is if you're young, it's great that you're doing. I love mentoring the young folks because we
That's right.
started in our late 20s. But I want to encourage you to not only show it to your young friends, show it to their uncle, show it to your friend's uncle, show it to your friend's mom and dad, and use the credibility of the people that are older in your business. And that really skyrocketed. We went to the second highest rank and never went out of qualification for years and years. Even if you're more an older person or mature, you might get in that habit of most people, like I took her dry cleaning to this dry cleaning place.
My
Delta
airline uniforms.
Yeah. So anyways, but I only spoke to Betty, and she's the lady that took the laundry. And she was easy for me to talk to. But I had learned now, this is after the second time go around, after we moved to our next company. We only signed up in 2 companies in our entire life of 32 years, only 2. So, but I learned at this point, which already saved me time. That's people wonder, why do you go through the ranks so quick? Because you know who to talk to. Betty is the owner here. I've never met him before. Now, the owner's got 6 of these dry cleaners. He knows what's going on in business. He's not afraid. He's a risk taker. Betty's easy. And I'm not trying to prejudge or take anything away from her, but let him sponsor her if he wants to. Who's the owner? And I said, hey, Scott, is there any, this is a shot in the dark, but I'm onto something big with some business owners. I've been talking to a lot of them. They all say they love what they do, but one day they'd like to sell it, but maybe they could get a way out of here one day. You ever think of that? But you need to have an income that's coming in even when you sell your company. I think of it all the time. What do you got? This guy, he came to our home meeting a day early. I mean, that's how fired up. I mean, if you got to talk to people that maybe are not the easiest people to talk to, get your confidence level up. And you know what? Even if you can't say the wrong thing to the right person, but you got to talk to those people. Gina always taught me, I learned it from her being a flight attendant for all those years. She'd do that. Most people don't listen to the talk, but I'd always want to listen to her when I'm on the talk, you know, when they have all their equipment and they say, these are the procedures that you got to do if we have an emergency. So she'd always say, hey, if there's a emergency and the oxygen masks go down, make sure you put your own on first and then your kids or anybody else you need to help. And that's why I think a lot of people, I've always used that in this industry. I'm going to put the oxygen mask on me first, then I'm going to go try to help all the needy people or the people. Sometimes you just want to pay them money. I'm not saying you're paying them not to be in your team, but I'm just saying that you might have to just donate money to them, because how much of a project can you have? I mean, seriously, you want to help. You got to help your own family first, and then you can bless other people how you want. But a lot of times people get in this needy mode and they're only looking for limpers or needy people. Like if you're in a wellness business, they're looking for limpers, but the only people going across that stage are people running. There ain't no limpers. You know what I mean? Because you're in a wellness product, you think you need someone that's got some ailment or something, but realistically, the people winning don't have any ailments. So you're mesmerized. Somehow you got the wrong thing because you got such a great product. You might have a really, really unique product, but you know, you're looking for people that are go-getter. They're not afraid. And that's by you putting that oxygen mask on yourself. You're going to go find people that really want to get out of their way. And who would have thought I mean, it's interesting how there's very negative flight attendants on the plane. And here you got a gal that's positive, and she's like, you know, the guy you ran into. Here's a gal who's so fired up. You would think she'd be the last one looking to get out of what she's doing because she loves it. Same with me. I love being a pro athlete. Who would even think that I'd be looking? Point is that's a very good message for everyone out there to think the people you don't think would ever do this are the ones that are looking the most usually.
They'll never tell you.
No,
they won't share their weakness with you.
Fascinating points, that, isn't it, really? And it is fascinating because you see people in their own life circumstances, and you think that they need it, and it's the person that you look at who maybe you think has already got it made, and maybe they're the person you need to be speaking to. You know, I just wrote down there, you're going to speak to your peers. These are you're afraid to mention it to them, right? You're afraid to say something to them that you're doing this or you're doing that, or, I don't know. Listen, I would definitely, if you're new to network marketing, I'd definitely start with Eric Worre's Go Pro book. You can see it on the table behind them there. Definitely a great book. You can find it on YouTube, and listen to it. It's worth listening. It's worth studying. Yeah, I think he's got, 7 or 8 kind of steps. Might be more than that. It's been a while since I've listened to it, but it's definitely worth, doing that. As well as the book, Your First Year in Network Marketing. I can't remember who wrote that. I can't remember the author, but if you just Google your first year in network marketing, it'll come up. Get that book. That'll give you some insights. Or even just go to the Eric Worre kind of channel. Let me bring it up here so you can see it. The link is in the description. The whole playlist is there. But if you go to, youtube.com @EricWorre, and you'll see all these videos. This is an education in itself, listening to these people. I would definitely do that. Right, let's get back to it, because I'm really enjoying it. What's the next section? Steve got over his resistance to talking to prospects about network marketing. Where are we now? Yeah, maybe we might just jump to that next section, will we? See, yeah.
But I think going back to your question, that competitiveness of like, hey, if I got to learn how to do this, I can do it.
I love these 2 screens. This has just made my life so much easier. Incredible.
But to start talking, to open up my mouth, I put my dream ahead of me. So like I can remember one of my best guys that I've taught him to make $5 million. And now he's already a $1 million earner in this new venture we just started. And the way I met him was I was sitting at my son's batting practice and the coach was there. And I was like thinking, well, I should talk to this coach. I need to talk to the coach. But if he says this, what if, and I got to say this, and what if he says that, and I got to say that. So I'm like sweating. So I'm just I'm going through exactly how I feel. This is still to this day sometimes, but I know if you just put this one thing before I finish, action cures fear. If you just open up your mouth to anything, at least you get the ball started. And I say, hey, Chad, you got to take a look at something. I'm not sure, you're a coach and I'm a coach. I found about this product. You would be incredible at it. And it really can bless people with any kind of ailments they got. So this guy, the next student he has after I leave happens to be my friend Mike. And Mike's son can't pitch because his shoulder's bad. This guy heard what I said, tells him you should try this because this guy just came, says about his shoulder. Next thing you know, Mike comes to one of our meetings and he's making millions now with us. So, the coach never did nothing, but he led me to the guy that did something. But you see, because of my thinking now, there's two things that was going through my mind. One is my dream is to at least have the opportunity to bring Gina home from work if she wants to. And if I don't open my mouth, I'm not going to be able to bring her home.
Right.
The second thing going through my mind is I got to go home and face this woman. And she's going to say, did you talk to the batting coach? And if I say, yes, I talked to him, then I'm her hero.
Woohoo!
So that's why no matter what he said, if he had an excuse or not, I just wanted to be her hero. So I know that if I put that, if you got somebody at home that they're not going to be it in a negative way, but you could hear her positive encouragement, but she'll also call you out if you're not doing it. So in a loving way. So point is she's got other ways to encourage.
It's not that difficult.
She's got other ways to encourage men to do the thing to teach the women. She just taught a lady, you got to hear this. This is an incredible way that she encouraged me, that I found incredible rock solid business people in our business from this one little bit of encouragement. It's way out of the,
how do you help this gentleman to
pick up the phone,
to step into a higher version of himself, to do the thing that was uncomfortable for him? How did you encourage him to do that without him feeling like pushed or made to be uncomfortable? What's your secret sauce?
Well, I think his dealing was he was nervous maybe he had people that he was not comfortable with calling. Yeah. And I was like, you're just calling them. They're going to say yes or no. Stupid. What's the big deal? So I would tell him, listen, did you call such and such? No. And I said, okay, well, if you go call them, I'll be here waiting on you. I was in bed. I'll be here waiting on you till you come back. And then he'd come back and he'd go, they're coming to our meeting. I said, yeah. Then I said, okay, now what about such and such? And he'd get up out of bed. I said, I'll be here when you get back. So I have this precious girl.
So you're trading sex for him.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm working it. Come on.
We just had a couple hit big rank after the lady said, my husband's not doing anything. She gave him the same advice.
She said, I just don't know what to do. I just am really struggling with him getting on the phone. I said, come here. Her and I go to the side. I said, listen, do you know how to work it? And she goes, work it? I said, yeah, you work it. Have him make the call and tell him, I'll be here when you get done with the call. I'll be waiting for you in bed. I said, he will make that call so fast, boom, he'll be in bed. And she goes, oh my gosh, that's genius. I love it. I love it.
Now you see why we're moving everybody through the ranks, Eric.
Do it.
And I'm wondering why you only had 4 kids. It's like there's a lot of calls he had to make.
Yes. Well, we both make the calls, but yeah.
So,
but I had to encourage him.
Yes. And I do a lot of conversations with couples because there's different dynamics.
Right.
Right. Sometimes one's the primary, one's the secondary. Or one's primary and the other one's just supporting. Sometimes somebody's building and they're not supporting.
Yeah.
Like they'll do the opposite.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Like I'll punish you if you go build your business. I'll punish you if you make that call. And they have to deal with that.
Yeah.
That's you and try and figure out that
it is tough to build in secret.
Do you guys both build? Are you both builders?
We both
build.
Everyone, we both got our, but we do it together.
We both have different gifts.
Yeah. What are your gifts?
Well, Gina knows how to start a conversation with anyone. There's no doubt about that. But I mean, I will say this much. That isn't my strength, but a lot of people feel sorry for me because I don't know. They're like, do I need to sign this and fill this out for you? Yes. Okay. So, I mean, it's like sometimes if you talk, you're a, what do you call it? A matty chatty or you chat too much.
Right, what are you talking about?
I'm not going to be saying much because I'm like, I want the paper filled out or I want the thing.
I don't see that in this conversation.
Yeah.
I see like you're ready to talk and you're ready to share.
I think what you're seeing
today's probably a little different though, right?
Yeah. Well, I think what you're seeing is that I've been a coach my whole life because, as you know, in the
Yeah, he's
Midwest,
so
with
good
all
at
the
that.
boats that you have to have, in order to barefoot ski, you have to have a 454 or a very fast outboard.
Mhm.
And my parents never could afford that kind of boat. We had 40 horse.
Mhm.
There were 55 horse, you know?
But you did it.
So what I did was I had to work always to be a coach.
Mhm.
So that came into my play. So me talking to you about what I know, like they would say to me in Atlanta at the World Congress Center boat show, Steve Merritt's going to be world champion, is going to be given points on how to do certain tricks or how to learn how to barefoot ski on your own boat at home. I'm confident I know exactly what I'm talking about here, because I had to get uncomfortable and not feel good at all about what I'm doing.
Mhm.
I can teach this to a T to anybody that
Mhm.
has that going on. So we're
So
talking
you-
about what
you-
I'm comfortable with
You
now.
took the strengths,
Yeah.
which
Right.
was coaching.
Yeah.
Somebody who was incompetent, help them become competent.
Yeah.
Show them how to do it, get past their limiting beliefs. Because I have a belief system that I cannot barefoot ski.
Yeah.
It's actually, I've tried many
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
I've
You got
face
the wrong
planted
coach.
many
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
And I went, this is a bad idea.
Yeah.
And like this sounds like an injury machine for
Yes.
me.
Yes. True.
So I'll drive the boat, or
Yeah.
or I'm gonna
Yeah.
watch.
Yeah. you just
what-
got to make sure you put the throttle all the way down.
all the way
Don't-
down. Oh,
and he
boy.
says, "Don't baby me."
Yeah, don't baby
I
me.
said, "No, I'm not
Whatever you
babying
do,
you.
don't baby
I'm
me
gonna
on that
whoop you
throttle.
up."
Nothing worse than slow speed on on your bare feet.
Because the water is like you like.
I'm aware.
Drowning?
No, I've
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
tried every
Yeah.
approach.
We
there is
actually
to try.
guaranteed anyone
We
could
sure
barefoot
did.
in one day.
What?
And we couldn't
it
have
happened,
people
yeah.
we couldn't have people get hurt, like I said, or they wouldn't be able to come back.
Sure.
But I mean but another thing is that you're asking me why I'm comfortable talking to you, is because once you know something and you're talking about something you've done, I'm just telling you what I've done, and I'm comfortable in the conversation of network marketing.
Yeah.
I've learned it.
So you learned it,
That's so true, isn't it? In anything. Like if I was to ask you about your job, whatever your job is, whatever you do for a living, you'd probably be able to tell me all about it. You'd be able to tell me every little detail, every tiny little thing, the ins and outs, the nuances. You'd be able to tell me all about it. But when you first started that job, if you'd never had any experience in it before, maybe it was a little bit difficult, right? You didn't know where the stationery office was. You didn't know where the bathrooms were. Maybe when you went to make a cup of tea or get a cup of coffee, you pick up a cup and you're wondering, is this the cup? Should I be using this cup? Is this someone's special cup? There can be all these things. But then after a couple of weeks of doing it, when it's become more familiar, you know where things are, you know what you're supposed to be doing, how things get done, the protocols in the office or wherever it is that you work. And then after years of doing it, a lot of it's just like, autopilot. It's so familiar. It's so easy to do, especially if if there isn't much change happening in the environment or in the office but that's so true. And I think that's what he's talking about here with network marketing is that, in the beginning, it feels weird, even though you might have these, desires and, things that you want to get done and things you want to achieve, but it's weird. It's like awkward. Talking to people about it is awkward. You're choosing maybe to speak to, people who you think need it, not others who maybe, look like their life is already perfect. They're the people you should be talking to about it. They're risk takers. Like he was saying, the people who run across the stage at these events, who are the winners, who are, making rank and earning the top bonuses and things like this. They don't have any of those problems. They don't have those ailments and issues. But again, having a reason to do it. He was talking about having a reason to do it. And his wife was giving him a reason to do it, which is great. And then they got into, the different scenarios of relationships and, all of those things true. Which one are you in? Which relationship are you in, if any? But he was talking about getting uncomfortable. And that is hard, right? Because in order to get good at something, you have to start from somewhere. And usually that somewhere is a place of uncomfort. You maybe feel awkward doing it, feel challenged picking up the phone or speaking to new people, starting conversations. But to be honest, these two have got some amazing energy, right? They sound Wouldn't you just love to go to dinner with them? You know, like, because they tell a great story. Let's see what else they've got to say. Where are we at anyway? What are we on? What section are we on? So with our effective, you know, is we still on that? Where are we? Yeah, we are still on that. What's the next section? Yeah, okay. Sharing the business side of network marketing. Yeah, we should really get into this. You know, like I think we could probably listen to the rest of this plus the next section, call it a day there, and maybe listen to the, you know, because like I really want to get to this bit here. You know, how they turned 130 recruits into a team of 70 people. I'd be interested to know there actually. You know, to get 130 recruits, how many conversations they had to have. That'd be an interesting one to know, because if you knew that, like if you knew that you had to speak to 1,300 people to sign up 130, let's say 10%, you know, like you've got a starting point there, haven't you? You know, you've got to have a list of 1,300 people. How quickly could you speak to 1,300 people, especially in today's day and age? I mean, actually have a conversation with 13,000 people, you know, even at 10 a day, you know, you're still looking at, 10 a day? So 100 days, that would be what? 10 times 100, 1,000? 100 days if you spoke to 10 people a day? Wow. Actually spoke to 10 people? Asked 10 people? Changes things a little bit there, doesn't it? Yeah, that's why when Joey talks about doing a 90-day run, that's why it's so important. Think about that. Interesting. Let's get back to a little bit more on this.
You're comfortable coaching
but
it.
still put me in the hobby of the hotel and say, go meet that person. I'm going to start sweating.
No, yeah, I'm uncomfortable too.
You know,
So
but she's not.
What's your superpower?
So hi, I'm Raphael, solar PV consultant. Solar actually has several benefits. What you're looking at is your...
I don't think I really have, I don't feel uncomfortable meeting people.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a huge gift.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, we've always been like thinking outside the box. Like we're at the boat show and he's got these boats sitting in the Atlanta boat show. It's snowing outside. How do you sell a boat when it's snowing outside?
Mm-hmm.
It's difficult. So I said, you know, I brought my bathing suit, my bikini, and my high heels. Maybe
put Gina in a bikini.
And I didn't have the best figure, but I mean, I was going to give it a go. So I thought my mom is going to lose it. You're a Christian. How can you stand in the boat show in a bikini? I said, we got to draw some crowd. I literally got in my bikini and it was like a swarming of men.
Yeah. They all wanted to come to the school.
All the men. We actually had
But we have a problem.
This is the great thing. We hired a videographer. Okay. We're at the boat show. We hired a videographer.
Yeah.
He's doing our whole boat show. Like it's kind of like for advertisement and stuff. Some lady, he's videotaping me and she comes up with her purse, slams him on the head, screaming, "You pervert!" But we had hired him. I mean, we got some good stuff.
Yeah.
My parents go to eat and it's like up in a loft, really up high. And my mom and dad said, we weren't really happy when you did this, but we see what the crowd drew.
So you're willing to do stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're willing to go outside of the box. You're willing to
get uncomfortable.
But she's a very big encourager. I mean, she'll encourage everybody. If you don't have a person encouraging, I'm more of a competitor. I'm like, what the heck are you doing?
But I'm very competitive too.
You know,
we're both competitive.
But she's in a loving way, more like remembering to encourage. I got to be told, remember, you got to encourage the guys.
Who recruits more? Between the two
we do the both. We do the same. But I will say that you would think because she's comfortable talking with people that she would recruit the most. But going back to what I said, because I'm uncomfortable, it actually works in my favor.
Yeah,
if you just
absolutely.
Right. I think we'll end it there. Right, and we'll get into it. I'm probably going to watch the rest of it. I recommend you should too, as well. You know, if I'm honest, just because it's fascinating. It's fascinating to hear these stories because obviously it's not easy. You know, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it, right? Now, there's no doubt that it is simple. You know, the model of network marketing is so simple, but it's not easy. Damn. Right. So obviously Joey didn't get a chance to get on today, which is fine. You know, he could be on maneuvers. You could be screwed up with the time changes on our end, which is absolutely possible. Do you know what I mean? It happened to me 2 weeks ago when the clocks changed in America. There's a call that I'm on every Saturday actually for the company that I'm involved with, and clocks went forward in America. So I hopped on the call at 5 in the evening, and of course it was already over. Right, it was just finishing, right? Because obviously the clocks had gone forward in the US, so it's easily done. I've done it myself, and maybe you've done it too. But listen, let me know your comments, and or drop me an email. Of course, I can be reached at the Real Mick McQuillan. The thing's going across the bottom, but you can also go here at bmcquillan.com. Learn more about what we're doing. Reach out to Jerry here, facebook.com/Jerry Younger. Definitely follow Jerry. Jerry produces a lot of content, and he's a great guy. And don't forget, go to Eric Worre. Thank you to Eric Worre for having all this great, amazing content. And it really is great, amazing content. You can really learn from it. Like if you're even thinking about, if you've got your toe dipped into network marketing, you want to be watching one of these videos every day, or maybe 2 of these videos every day, because they're inspiring. You can build confidence from them. You can learn how to talk about it. Like obviously these 2 people, Gina and Steve, they're both, they work hard, they want to win, they're competitive. Maybe these aren't the right people for you to be listening to, but there will be somebody else in there that is the right person for you to be listening to. Their story, like there was a story I was listening to earlier this week. A young guy got involved in network marketing at 18. In fact, he went to his first meeting when he was 16, couldn't even get involved in network marketing. So maybe you're young, maybe you're older. It doesn't really matter. Maybe you're competitive, maybe you're not competitive, maybe, whatever your personality is, you're going to find these stories, you're going to find someone that you can relate to and give you even more reason why you can do it. Because anybody can do it. It's just about having the reason why, having the reason why you want to do it. What is it that you want to achieve? What would having, more money, more time mean for you? And how, just as Steve was talking about, you've got to put on that life, that breathing mask for yourself first before you can help anybody else. But imagine you have all those things. How would you live your life differently? What would you do differently? How would you affect your community? How would you affect your family, friends? But it all starts with getting uncomfortable. That's what he's talking about. So, oh man, get uncomfortable. If you want things to change, you've got to change, right? And it starts with getting uncomfortable, getting out of your comfort zone. It's very easy being in your comfort zone, isn't it? Right? I know exactly how you feel if you feel that way. But look, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, click that notification button. You'll learn when we're on, usually around about the same time every week, right? And of course, reach out to myself or Joey. And of course, you've been watching Freedom, Health and Lifestyle. My name is Mick McQuillan, and we're going to finish with my favorite video. I love this video. I played it at the beginning. We play it at the beginning and the end of every one of the shows that we do. And it's just a great video because for me, it has everything in it. It literally has everything in it. I don't know if they did that on purpose or whether they just thought they were putting together a collection of stuff. But it really, if you really kind of listen to this video, study it, take notes, you'll hear that everything that you need is within inside you. You already have it. You already have it. But listen, look, I'm going to let you go. It's been great being with you this week. Looking forward to next week. I'm looking forward to what this week brings. I've got such an exciting week ahead of me. We've got all kinds of things happening, and it's going to be a great week. Listen, you have a great week too. All right, and I shall see you guys next week.
You see, we are created in a magnificent vibration, in an absolutely magnificent vibration. Born risk takers, free. That conditioning takes place after birth. You can change it. It takes guts. It takes goals. Now, do you know something? You're sitting there watching this and you're thinking, by God, I'm going to change something. I always say, keep reminding yourself that you have tremendous reservoirs of potential within you, and therefore you are quite capable of doing anything you set your mind to. You really can. I don't care what the cynics tell you. Quit listening to some of your peers. Now, all you must do is figure out how you can do it, not whether you can or not. When are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? You've got to create a sense of urgency. I'm going to do it right now.
If you can see it, you can do it. But the beautiful truth is you can do anything. We got to know there is a place. There is a specific frequency. And if you get on that frequency, you're going to attract what you need to you. This is what it's all about. Why have you been endowed with such awesome powers? If you'll make a committed decision, this I'm going to do. And you don't have to know how. You do not have to know how. The second you make the committed decision, you flip your brain onto the frequency that you have to be on to attract what you have to attract to manifest the thing that you want. If you can see it, you can do it. It's got to be something you want. Wants come from inside. Act like you're already there. Walk, talk, speak, live like you're already there. Don't set a small goal. Don't set something that doesn't really wind your stem. Set it so big it jazzes you. It really gets you going. When something of a very high nature resonates with the very high side of you, you'll know it. You'll know it. You will feel it. Feeling is conscious awareness of vibration. The only prerequisite, do you want it? Not do you need it, not could you do it. The only prerequisite is, do you want it? Take the lid off your marvelous mind and dream. For goodness sake, give yourself the right to do that. Get your analytical mind out of the way. Put it in your pocket for a while. All you're doing is exploring, daydreaming. What did Lawrence say? All men dream, but not equally. Those who dream by night in the dusty recesses of their mind waken the day to find that it was vanity. But the dreamers of the day are dangerous men, for they may act their dream with open eyes to make it possible. This I did.